Okay.
We'll see how many people we get in
we're
here.
live. And
Okay,
you
great.
should see a tag on X. Hey, everybody.
There it is. I see it. Hey, 4 people in so far. We'll see how high we can get. I think I think we got 750. Whatever that number means, I think it was about 750 was our highest at one time. So,
Okay.
right,
Yeah, I'm gonna quote it right now.
Perfect. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go. Where is? There we go. I'm gonna go mention it to my guys. Copy. Let's see. Colin, the business brain today. All right. There we go. See if we get some traction. Cool. Fantastic. Thanks for joining the live stream, everybody. We're here with Colin Rutherford today. We met like about a year ago, right? On X?
Yeah, something like that, about a year ago. And then we just pretty much, it seems like lately we're chatting every week, back and forth.
Yeah. Well, being in Tribe is guess that's another connection point too, as well.
Yeah.
But what a year, man.
Oh, yeah.
Matt changed my life.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready anytime, Dave.
Yeah, I'm ready too. All right. Here goes nothing. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Great. Business Brain, episode 640 for Wednesday, April 16th. Wear pajamas to work day 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a few ideas, we analyze them, we dissect them, we use them to tune our business brains so we can each keep living those charmed lives. SelectQuote.com/businessbrain is one of our sponsors. That's where you can go to get the right life insurance for you for less. And of course, Shopify.com/businessbrain. That's where you can go to sign up for your $1 per month trial period. We will talk more in depth about both of those in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here in Lafayette, I'm Shannon Jean. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm down in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Awesome. Great. That's perfect. Good to have you here, Colin. We're here. We have Colin Rutherford on the show today. If you're not watching the live stream and listening, like most of you will be, Colin, we met about a year ago up on X, right?
Yep.
Awesome. That's great. So I've been following you. I think one of the biggest things I followed in the beginning, you took off on a viral post about Bottle Night and got like 9 million views or some crazy thing like that.
Yeah, it was actually 62 million views.
No way! Yeah. 62
million views on that one post, and then I had some comments underneath it, and then some subsequent posts. The total Bottle Night experience, we can say, was about 75 million impressions on X.
Were you monetized before then?
I was not. That got me over the hump. So I was probably about like 2/3 of the way there, I would say. That's at the time. Great. That got me over the hump. I made $602 basically from that post.
Oh man,
that's cool.
Yeah. Something. The thing about what I loved watching that and watching you, and I want to get some background on your business, and then I want to talk about the way I've seen you maneuver in the last year, which is great. So tell our listeners about, tell us your story, the businesses that you've been in, what you've started, what you're doing now. Give us the key points.
Absolutely. So originally from Buffalo, New York, I grew up my whole life playing ice hockey. I was lucky enough to get recruited to play hockey at a Division I level at Dartmouth College. So while I was there at college, I actually launched my first business there, Green Box Storage. So basically what we do is we provide a summer storage service for college students. So at the end of the spring semester, we pick up their items, we store their items over the summer, and then we drop their items back off in the fall when they're back on campus. So that was my first real experience launching a business. And that was back in 2019. It's 2025 now. So about over 5 years been running that. We've been running well. We've been growing every year. We're at about 23 schools across the country right now.
Wow.
And
awesome,
we've been scaling it. I've got a great team underneath me now that's been able to help a lot with that. And yeah.
Okay, so I have a question already. You and I have never met before, though it's possible that in November of 2019, I saw you here in Durham, New Hampshire as the UNH team. I think it was a tie game, and I think it ended in overtime. But there is a stigma. Stigma is the wrong word. There's a presumption that D1 athletes don't really study and don't have time to do anything other than whatever athletic endeavors they're recruited to be involved in. You've all proven that to be incorrect. Was there resistance there when you started doing this? How did you manage your time?
Yeah. I think back about it now, and it's like I can't even believe I did it, really, because like I was spending 30 hours a week on hockey, and then I had an obviously rigorous academic schedule going to an Ivy League school, so I was like that took a huge amount of time, and then somehow I figured out time to launch Greenbox Storage and also have at least some semblance of a social life. So yeah, I mean, I think did
you just defer sleep for 4 years?
I didn't though. I really didn't.
That's great.
When someone asks me like, what's the most important thing you learn in college or a question like that, I always say time management, because like my skills and time management from freshman to senior year, like they tremendously improved, and they had to, or else I wouldn't be able to have done everything I did.
Oh, you would have burned out before you ever began. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you described that business in like 2-3 sentences, and it sounds like, oh, that's just totally makes sense. But I know what's behind it. All the work and effort. Not only that, you brought on a partner, you sold part of the business. I mean, all this stuff that takes it, to make it happen. That's a massive amount of time.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And it sounds like a simple business, just pick up, store, and drop off. But with the logistics that go on behind it and storing tens of thousands of items for thousands of college students across the country simultaneously, it's not super easy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that not only did you do it sort of for, spending money while you were in college. I mean, I suppose that was probably the start. It was like, well, we got to do something. You understood that you needed to learn how to scale this and do the things. We love mistakes here. I can only imagine what was it like opening the second location when you thought you were a genius after having succeeded with the first?
Yeah, it's a very, so we launched at Dartmouth and caught fire immediately. Like I knew we had product market fit right from the get-go. So that was great. Sure. I never really struggled with product market fit. And my buddy, Aaron Partridge, who we grew up playing hockey together, he went to Liberty University, and he's like, I want to open up a branch at Liberty. So that was our first expansion branch. He ran that branch, and I basically gave him the trade secrets, explained to him how to do everything. And it was also like during the beginning of COVID too. So we were navigating that, but it was actually a blessing for storage, because colleges sent like all the students home. They needed storage. So it was like, we got to get this going now and take advantage of COVID. And we did. We got one branch launched before that happened. Some other companies, they were able to take even more advantage of that, but we were not as mature at the time as a company.
Sure.
But yeah, that was our first expansion branch. And then Shannon also mentioned that I sold part of the company. I sold 20% of Greenbox Storage to Aaron because I wanted to bring him on full time. He did such a great job at Liberty.
That's great.
Interesting. What a great way to source a business partner, to have them essentially work, not just essentially work for you, but in a environment where Aaron clearly was on his own to succeed or fail with your guidance. It wasn't like you were over his shoulder every day in that location. He had to make it happen.
Right. Yeah. I've still to this day, I've never been to Liberty. So yeah, it was all him.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. I love that.
Well, and the way you have to think to put a deal like that together is very different than when you started. And it's you mature as a business owner to figure that stuff out. I would argue that, I want to talk about what you're doing now, but I would argue that helped you get to where you are today as well.
Absolutely. Sure. You just get the experience underneath your belt. Like, people always wait. They're like, oh, I'm not ready yet to start this business. You'll never really be ready. In my opinion, you just got to do it and learn on the fly.
That's huge.
That's some of the best advice we've ever heard on this show. I'm still not ready to, let alone, forget about starting another business. I'm not ready to run the businesses that I have, let alone start a new one. And yet you just have to keep doing it. You just do it. You just make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about our two sponsors because, look, you've worked hard to build something, your business, your future, your secret underground innovation bunker. So why leave your legacy unprotected? And that's where our sponsor, SelectQuote, comes in. With nearly 40 years of experience, SelectQuote helps you find the right life insurance fast, affordable, and customized for your needs. Their agents work with top carriers to get you up to $5 million in coverage, possibly same day, with no medical exam if you're in good health. And yes, they shop around so you don't have to. This is about protecting your assets, your family, and everything you've built, all while still living that charmed life you deserve. SelectQuote. They shop, you save. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/businessbrain. Go to selectquote.com/businessbrain today to get started. That's selectquote.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to SelectQuote for sponsoring this episode. And now look, you already know that I use our sponsor Shopify to sell merch for my other podcasts. And every time I launch a product, it feels like I've hired an entire e-commerce department, but without the meetings or the awkward team building exercises. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Wow. With ready-made templates, AI tools that write your product copy, and a checkout experience so smooth it practically sells for you. That little purple Shop Pay button, that's the secret sauce. And it might just convert faster than coffee at a Monday morning staff meeting. If Shopify were a person, I'd nominate it for Entrepreneur of the Year, or at least let it run my fantasy football league. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into ka-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/businessbrain. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain. Again, shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode.
Okay, Colin. I've been trying to grow on X like for the last year or so, right? And especially in the beginning, I just copied you. I would watch you try new things over and over and over. And when you mentioned how many subscribers you had on your newsletter in a post, I just did that. When you did something like this, I was like, you know what? That's the way. He kept trying new things, coming up with new ideas. And even if it didn't get traction, he would then just roll to the next. So number one, thank you for that. I always say best practices, but I'm just copying. But talk about pivoting and being, the mindset that's required to try all this new stuff. Much of it that doesn't work. Some of it does work, I imagine. But tell our listeners about how you power through that.
Yeah, I could go in a lot of different directions with this. I think my overall thesis with social media is you have to get post content that people engage with, that boosts it in the algorithm. And then they'll also see your other content. Maybe that's more valuable that you're teaching them. And then that'll drive views and followers on your profile. So that's kind of like my overall thesis on how to grow on social media in general. I guess regarding pivoting, yeah, I started in June 2023 and it's been quite a ride. It's almost been 2 years now. I'm at 10,000 followers and I didn't really I'm not that smart, guys. I don't really invent ideas on my own. I usually just see other people doing them and I try to implement them myself, either in a slightly different way or the same exact way or in an underserved market, which is exactly what I did with Greenbox Storage. And if it works for me, I continue to do it. So a lot of those things you're mentioning, Shannon, I bought a course from Justin Welsh, super popular creator on X. And he has this awesome course, spent $150 on it. And it really just provided me so much insight for how to grow and how to drive leads to your subscribers with a pre-CTA and a post-newsletter CTA and just so many different things, the content flywheel, he calls it too. So you just have to figure out what works for you. And if it doesn't, after a really good effort, move on to something else.
Yeah. How do you know when that effort didn't work? I mean, I know you can, the numbers and the analytics and everything else, but sometimes I'm concerned that I didn't give it enough time, or maybe I didn't do it right. How do you know when it's time to pivot and try something different?
Yeah, I think you mostly just, I don't know if there's a framework you can really use for that. I just mostly listen to my gut. And I have a gut because of the experience I've had being on there for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't starting and if I didn't get going, I would not be able to have that gut feeling. So you just kind of try,
cool.
like really try
Yeah,
as hard as you
Oh,
can.
no,
And if it doesn't work, then move on.
How many posts have you done on X? Do you know?
I wish I knew. I could check, but it's gotta it's gotta be
like tens of thousands, right?
Tens of thousands. Yeah. Easily tens of thousands.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I want to wrap these two topics into one kind of question. So we always talk about mistakes on here, probably because I've made so many, but you learn so much from them. We say mistakes are tuition, but sometimes those mistakes can tap your motivation, right? To keep yourself going and keeping everything. Talk about some losses or mistakes that happened to you, and then wrap it into, hey, here's how I got through it.
Yeah, definitely important to make mistakes actually as learning experience so you can keep on living that charmed life. But yeah, this one experience I had growing green box storage from 6 to 18 branches in 1 year. So I think it was 22 to 23. We tripled the branch presence of the company. I had graduated from grad school. I went to Bentley University for a year of grad school because of COVID. They gave us an extra year of eligibility for hockey. So launched a branch there, done with my master's. I'm like, all right, full bore green box storage. We're doing it. My mom's like, hey, so where are you going to work after college? I'm like, I'm not. I'm content. I'm just going to keep running green boxes.
Keep rocking. Yeah.
Just keep rocking.
Yeah.
And so we went from 6 to 18, went in overdrive. And I was like, I just took any school possible, hired any interns I could to launch branches. And man, was that a mistake.
That's awesome.
I was going to say, there's no way this worked out well.
No, it did not. So we didn't have a lot of experience, like understanding which schools were a good fit for our service. And I just wanted to grow at all costs. So we ended up losing money at 6 out of the 18 branches that we expanded to. So like our profit margins tanked, lost money at a lot of schools. And I was like, okay, we can't just grow recklessly like this anymore. We have to be focused on profit margin as we scale. So learn that the hard way. We we slowed our growth profit wise that year.
But you still made money that year, is how I'm reading between the lines. Yeah. Okay.
No, we did still make money. Our profit margin, our net margins contracted, though.
Your net margins contracted. Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting.
That's great.
This is, Shannon, I'm having an interesting experience here watching, as I've been sitting, really trying to just be a fly on the wall for the last few minutes. I see so many similarities between the two of you, Colin and Shannon. And it's not just because you have two letters doubled in the middle of each of your first names. But it, like, when you said, I'm not that smart, guys, what you mean by that. And I think the valuable lesson, because Shannon says similar things, it's clear that you're both very smart, obviously. But how I interpret you saying that is, I am not impressed with how clever I am. You are willing to learn from other people. You are willing to just figure things out. You are willing to say, I don't know. It doesn't have to be your idea. You just need to implement that idea. And that's one of the things the most valuable lessons I learned from Shannon over the decades that I've known him is implementation is more important than ideas. And now I'm famous for saying, if you want an idea to be worth $100, write it on a $100 bill, right? Because ideas aren't worth anything without execution. But like that phrase, I'm not that smart, guys. And you didn't just say it as a line. You said it because you meant it. But what I think you mean is that you're just not impressed with how clever you are. You don't need to be the most clever person in the room.
Yeah.
I think that's hugely valuable.
I prefer to surround myself with people like you guys because I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room, and that makes me grow as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the experience, right? I mean, I think Colin and I've had a few calls, and I often say, hey, man, if I was your age and at your stage of developing entrepreneur business and everything, I would, you're going to be way more successful than I am at my age. There's no doubt about
either
it.
one of us put together, man.
It's a way you think about things. And this is why I come back to talking about pivots and motivation and losses, because we could sit here and break down, a lot of these guys, break down the numbers, and it's all transactional. And that's important. Obviously, you got to pay the bills and you want to, but making money is not that hard. Building wealth is difficult and over time. And that stuff, in your brain, man, is what carries me forward, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing here every week is unpacking the mindset of success. And Colin, I mean, you are like the epitome of this, man. I mean that like as stated. Yeah, you've really got it. You've got it figured out in that you don't have it figured out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I got to give credit to my parents really on that. Like,
it's awesome.
Like my mom was a first grade school teacher, so like she taught me everything really. And then my dad is a youth hockey coach who runs his own business doing camps and clinics. Cool. And yeah, he taught me he instilled in me the innate drive that I have. Yeah. And it's like that I have a never ending pursuit for personal growth. Like I always want to read books. I always want to meet more people. And that's really important in business, I think.
Yes,
it is. That's awesome. Okay. So tell me what you're doing now. What are you building now? Share with us.
Yeah. So I've been fortunate enough to recruit a great management team and a great team underneath me at Greenbox Storage. And it's freed me up some time to focus on other things. It's also a seasonal business, so there's not a lot going on in parts of the year. So I launched another company called Founder Brands. We're basically a content agency / digital marketing agency. We do a lot of different things to help people grow their personal brands on social media. And typically the reason people want to do that is there's a few different reasons. One, they might want to drive leads to their business. They might want to raise money from investors. They might want to recruit top talent. So we help business owners do that.
That's killer. That's
really great. Is this founderbrands.io in case people are interested? Is that right?
It is. Yep. Founderbrands.io.
Great. That's great. Great. That's awesome.
I'm going to make sure people know where to find
that's great. It. So talk about managing your businesses. It sounds like everything's remote. What tools do you use? Give us some feedback on how you make the magic happen.
Yeah, I love remote businesses. The freedom that comes along with being able to manage a team remotely is unmatched. But I also never really had that in-office experience because I'm 27. So my only office experience is an internship my sophomore year of college. That's it. But I do like being able to be remote. Tools wise, use a lot of tools. So the most, we probably just mention the most important ones. I think Google Workspace is probably the most prominent one in my business, just for organizing SOPs, organizing communication documents, files, videos, all that stuff. Slack, I use across both companies for communication. So that's the primary mode of communication. We use a bit of AI too lately, especially with Founder Brands to make the content, not creation process, but the organization of it and for first drafts. And then there's a lot of human editing that goes in after the AI. That's time consuming, and it has to be, or else the content's going to suck.
Yes.
Yes.
That's great. We find the same thing here. We obviously we do a whole segment on Fridays called Friday AI, and a lot of what we talk about is where you can use it and where it makes sense to step in as the human. And that's cool. Exactly right.
Very
man.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'd say those are the most prominent tools that I use.
Yeah.
And X, of course, if you call that a tool to drive.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a tool. What is your username on X for our listeners who want to follow you?
It's Colin with 2 L's _ RUTH89. So Colin _ Ruth 89.
And and we'll put it in the show notes too at businessbrain.show. I did check, and you've posted over 18,000 times. So just wanted to call that out.
Yeah.
You got to put in the reps, dude. Right.
Absolutely. I don't know if that includes comments, but I post 3 times per day, every single day for the past almost 2 years now, just original posts. So
yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. It's super motivating, man. give us a tip or two you can leave our listeners with as we wrap things up, things that, you found important that you'd want to share with them.
Absolutely. So going back, obviously, as a business show, I think in my brief experience so far, to scale a business, you need to put the right people in the right places. And I've been able to do that. Thankfully, this year was really the first year I've been able to do that at Greenbox. I have such a great management team, customer support department, technology department. And it's just made my life so much easier and less stressful because we have great systems and a great team. So I think that's the number one thing to scale a business is a great team.
Yeah, I would agree. That's awesome. And it's just like you said, starting small, learning. I imagine you wouldn't have known how to, put together that great team 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So it's just, the key is getting involved, getting in the game, starting something, see where it goes. And I love hearing, your story and watching you grow. It's fantastic. And, thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Oh, this has been a blast. Let me know when the next time you want to have me back on. I have such a great time.
All right, man. Absolutely. We will do it. Absolutely.
It's great. It's great. But, go follow Colin. You can watch just a masterclass in making something out of nothing and turning it into something that people want to be involved in. And it's great. I commend you for everything you've accomplished.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure having you, man. Really, really great. Folks, visit the show notes at businessbrain.show. We'll have links to everything, including where you can follow Colin and find out more. Keep on living that charmed life. We'll see you on Friday. And we're out. We're still live.
Still live, but we're not recording now, so that's great. Yep. Yeah, killer, man. Thank you. Really highly motivating and for people. So I'll share the live stream with you. Well, I'll give you the link to the live stream if you want to cut up any of the video as well.
Yeah, I would definitely love to cut up the video and the transcript for the post as well.
Yeah, we'll give you all that, and
it'll be on YouTube too. So you can find
I'll send you the link.
We'll if there's anything you need, let us know. We have it all.
Yeah.
So
okay, perfect.
And then so this episode will be pushed out on Wednesday to all the platforms and stuff. And
let me know. And if you need my like other handles or whatever, I'll push it everywhere I am.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
That's awesome. Yeah. We'll all share it across and get some stuff. But thanks again, man. I appreciate having you on the show, and I'll be in touch with you. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. Thanks,
Take
Dave.
care, everybody. See you.
Colin, it's a pleasure meeting you, man. Yeah. I look forward to staying in touch.
Me too.
Terrific.
Amazing.
He's a great guy. Super motivating.
Really, he is a smart guy, and I also think I might have come up with a tagline for us during that show as he was talking.
What did you say?
I wrote it down.
Unpacking
unpacking the mindset of success.
I love that. That's good.
I know,
because so many shows are interview shows sometimes, but also lots of like, this is how you take $1 and turn it into $2 and this and this. But our show is a little different. We do talk about that stuff, but we also talk about a lot about your brain and your business brain and how that, how you got to develop it to power yourself forward and try all this different stuff. And, we've been doing it.
Unpacking the mindset of success.
I love it.
Yeah, same. As soon as I wrote it down, because it was like, well, that's what this guy, we're doing with this guy. I'm like, wait, that's what we're doing every single time we do this.
So that was 640, right?
Correct.
And that's for the 16th, and that's Colin. And then Friday, we're going to do Friday AI.
I have several things.
I have something I'm going to talk about too. All so we can do the whole episode Friday.
I was just going to say the whole episode should be Friday AI.
Yeah, Friday AI.
Okay.
Okay.
Business Brain 6.
What topic? Well, I don't need to have it. You can just
give me a second.
Yeah. So for those of you watching the live stream, Dave is pushing some buttons, twirling some knobs to get that episode ready for just a little bit of post-production stuff that we do so we can post this up on Wednesday. You know, a lot of podcasts I go on, man, it's months before they release it. So it really makes me value our process that
I know.
gets the content out there.
With Gig Gab, I recorded an episode middle of March that's not coming out until end of April. But it wasn't because I needed to delay it. It was because I just got ahead.
Okay, that's cool.
Of things. And it was like, okay, great. Now I don't have to worry. I can just go a few weeks,
and
which I sort of like, but and now I can kind of do one a week, and I have this can of this rolling can, if I will, right?
Nice.
You know, so yeah, it's pretty, it's good,
cool.
but it's weird. Like I've been talking about this one episode that's coming out on the 28th of April for weeks, and my family's like, yeah, when can I hear that?
That's funny.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You haven't heard it yet. Okay.
That's hilarious. That is good. All right. So you did that. Perfect.
Okay. I'm almost finished here. Yeah, what a smart.
He's great.
I was trying to come up with it in the moment. He is, and you sort of said it at the beginning, that he is really good at distilling things down into bite-sized chunks.
Yeah. Well, he's relentless. And
that too.
And
yes.
And persistent and consistent. Yes. And so, like I said, when I got there, I was trying to find people to model after, and I watched him try all these different things, and I was like, huh. And then I would look and I'm like, well, that didn't really work. But I knew, I'm like, well, then now he tries something different and try something else. So that's, I respect that, because so many times in my life, we've tried countless different things. I mean, even today, the stuff that doesn't work. And so you just have to power through it. And I was meeting with my assistant today, and like the first digital product I ever made, we put so much time into it, and it just died. Nothing.
It happens.
But we use it in in a different way now, where I was like, hey, that's really valuable, but it just didn't turn out the way I thought it would. So you learn a lot. So
you do.
Yes.
And you just
so funny.
Really, I think there's something here about the difference between a successful entrepreneur and a failed entrepreneur is that you wind up getting lucky early enough.
Yeah.
I was reading, and I've been thinking this for a while, because you need to be relentless. You need to do all the things, but you got to bring in some cash at some point.
Yeah.
Right. Like the machine needs to start running.
You can talk all this kind of general work, framework, this motivation, that, but you do have to obviously have the transactional stuff.
You gotta have some, but that stuff, it's almost difficult. Like that's the stuff that's the hardest to create. That's the stuff you get lucky about, I think.
Yeah.
You do all the things. And he's like, we just happen to have, found our perfect market fit with our first store. And he's like, so we never had to worry about that. He's aware now that he never had to worry about that. But in the moment, it was like, well,
it works. I got to go and keep going. And just keep going.
But he was smart enough to see, okay, wait a minute. We did get lucky, and here's where. The rest of the stuff, we set it all up great, but we did get this one thing lucky in terms of the timing of it. And I think that's where the luck is it's just timing, and you build up. Like when we started Backbeat, people were pouring money at internet businesses.
Yeah,
and
that's it. Timing wise, the same with us. We were time and place, right?
We were idiots at the time about that business, but it didn't matter. The money was there.
You were successful despite yourself, right?
Correct. But the other thing we did was we didn't spend the money. Like for some reason, we war chested it. And then,
that's awesome.
18 months in, the internet bubble burst, and we're like, hey, look, we have now we have what they call runway.
Yes, that's awesome.
But that was dumb luck. It's totally dumb luck. So
yeah, that's good. That's good to have that.
That's what I'm saying is there's always an element of dumb luck.
Oh, totally.
You can do all the smart things, and you need to, because otherwise you can't take advantage of the dumb luck.
Yeah. And I often say, like Colin said, it's like, well, I sound smarter than I really am. It's because I'm telling my story in reverse.
So,
of course. It sounds like I made these plans and this persuaded this and knew when to jump in here. But a lot of it is just you're at the right time, right place.
Yeah.
You power through it. You surround yourself with really good people. So
yeah.
Anyway, let's record another.
Let's do it.
Show.
I need to get. I have everything ready except for what the heck I'm going to talk about. So I think, but I know the things. Like I'm totally fine with it. I just need.
Okay. Yeah.
I just need to put them in like the episode.
Did you see that question I posted you in Slack about the new memory ChatGPT thing? We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. I saw. Oh yes, I've done that a few times over the years. Yeah.
I think they just turned this on with ChatGPT like a week or so ago.
What do you mean?
They came up with some threaded memory thing that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's an evolution. They've had this for a while because I've asked it what are the top 5 things and the bottom 5 things about me kind of thing. And but you're right. It is getting better at that.
It is much better.
Yeah.
I'm going to find my thing.
Where did you put it somewhere?
I posted it. Yeah, I posted it in Slack to your direct message.
Oh, it was in DMs. Yeah. Okay,
that's
why
I posted in DMs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Let's go back here.
Because it's always been able to remember. Well, if you don't turn it off.
I get you. Yeah.
There's a. Where is it? We should get that up in front of us personally.
I'm going to share what it said my 5 blind spots are.
All right, great. Yeah.
Some of them will not surprise you.
Right. Well, that's the beauty of it.
But
right?
It's great. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. I think 641. Yeah, there we go. Business Brain, episode 641 for Casual Friday, April 18th, Lineman Appreciation Day, 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we dissect them, we use them to tune our business brains so that we can each keep on living those charmed lives and unpacking the mindset of success. SelectQuote.com/businessbrain is where you can go to get the right life insurance for you for less. And Shopify.com/businessbrain is where you can go to sign up for a $1 per month trial period and upgrade your selling today. We'll talk more about each of those in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And out here in Lafayette, California, I'm Shannon Jean. Happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday. Yeah, man.
Yep. I like every day of the week. I'm a big fan of Mondays, but Friday's pretty cool, I guess. But I'm going to be, I'm happy to say the days for me are consistent, meaning.
Oh, interesting.
I may, work today. I may work Saturday. I may work, it's different. Empty nesting. The kids are gone.
Yes.
So it just depends on what's going on. We may go to Tahoe on a Wednesday, or we may take, you don't know. And I love the fact that I can work anywhere. And so, but Friday's cool.
My music music career,
Yes.
it defines days of the week more than anything else in my life right now.
Interesting.
Because, most people are going to come out on, Friday, Saturday nights, sometimes Thursdays, sometimes. And it doesn't mean that there aren't gigs on Sunday. Well, Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, although Mondays are sort of known as a musician's day off.
I see.
In a general sense, it's kind of the day that, it's after the weekend. Everybody's kind of done with their work for the week. Why do I put work in quotes? That's probably the hardest work I do.
There you go. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Friday AI, man. We got lots.
We do. Do you want to start? You want me to start? What do you want to do?
I can start one. I saw a woman named America Turner on LinkedIn commented something. She says, I'll read most of her post here, but it gets to a question here. I think we're having the wrong conversations about AI. Most of what I see is either panic, total rejection, or debates about M-dashes. She says, I was listening to a podcast with Liz Moody and NYU professor Susie Welch, who spent her career helping people build theirs. And when the topic turned to AI, she said something worth thinking about. She says, for a while now, it's been that we need to turn over 25% of our skill set every 18 months just to keep up with emerging tech. And with AI, that number has jumped to 65%. 65% skill churn every 18 months. So the real question isn't whether creatives should fear AI. It's how quickly and how well can we level up by 65%. And so this NYU professor Susie Welch's advice is to ask ChatGPT. I work in whatever your field is. I've made a career as a whatever your job is. How will AI disrupt my progress and what skills will it replace? And then follow up with, what can I do in the next 6, 12, or 18 months to use AI to grow my career? And I'll put those two prompts in the show notes.
That's good. That's good.
Right?
That fundamentally gets to something I've been thinking about a lot, is that you have to know the right questions to ask. It's just right.
Yes. That's been the case since search engines came out.
Yes. Google.
Right?
Some people are good at Googling and others are not.
Yeah.
And so you to really take advantage of the AI, it's knowing how to phrase it and
prompt engineering.
Yes. And I can tell you, the more, like, I use the voice, the ChatGPT voice interaction a lot.
Yes.
And I've told this story on the show here before, but like, I needed to learn. I have a rural property with a well that I have all kinds of issues with. And I've had like almost an hour's worth of conversations with ChatGPT trying to troubleshoot this well. And it's mind-blowingly impactful and effective at prompting me to try this and check this and come back and tell me if you tried that, so then I can go to the next thing and the next thing. And what I love is I would do it typically on the way back to my house after leaving this property. But then when you get home, all your conversation in text is all right there in ChatGPT for you to reference and help me solve those problems. And I've used it like that a lot.
I use the voice with ChatGPT so frequently, it's ridiculous. It's crazy to me that there's not a CarPlay component to the ChatGPT app, and I can only presume that that's because Apple has asked them not to make one. I have learned something, though, and that is when I'm communicating via voice with someone, like, say, you, for example, if I ask you a question and you give me an answer, I am trained to then respond to that answer pretty much right away. It's how conversation generally works between two humans. And so therefore that habit presented itself while I was conversing with ChatGPT, right? It's like, it says something, I say something. It says something, I say something. And I realized at one point I was in the car having one of these conversations and it said something and I didn't immediately know. I knew I wanted to ask it a follow-up, but I didn't know what that follow-up was. And so I paused and then I thought, well, wait a minute. It doesn't care if I take 20 minutes to respond. Like it's listening the whole time because I've turned it on to listen. Like if I could turn it off, obviously, but it's in that conversation mode. So it's listening, it'll hang out. And the freedom to sit and think about the exact right response. And sometimes I'll like daydream off on other things and come back to it or whatever. It's as strong and powerful as the freedom that I realized in the moments where we're doing this show, where I can pause, and it's the pause in my head is not as long as it is in the listener's ears. Right. Yeah. And I don't have to say all the time, even though I still do. But all those things, waiting 20 minutes or 5 minutes to respond to ChatGPT until you know what you want to ask it next, has made my interactions with it at least twice as valuable.
That's wild. That's really great. I love that.
It's super patient. It's what it is. In fact, it's almost infinitely patient.
I would argue that it will impact the way we have conversations socially over time.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, why not? Like if you and I are talking, I guess it would be like high people talking, right? Because one person will say something and the other person just won't respond for 20 minutes.
And then
20 minutes later, you're like, hey, and the conversation resumes, right? So I think
could be more valuable.
I think that could be more valuable. Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty wild. I love that idea. I have some more ChatGPT stuff to talk about as well.
I do too. I want to take a minute and talk about our sponsors because look, you've worked hard to build something, your business, your future, your secret underground innovation bunker. So why leave your legacy unprotected? And that's where our sponsor, SelectQuote, comes in. With nearly 40 years of experience, SelectQuote helps you find the right life insurance fast, affordable, and customized for your needs. Their agents work with top carriers to get you up to $5 million in coverage, possibly same day, with no medical exam if you're in good health. And yes, they shop around so you don't have to. This is about protecting your assets, your family, and everything you've built, all while still living that charmed life you deserve. SelectQuote. They shop, you save. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/businessbrain. Go to selectquote.com/businessbrain today to get started. That's selectquote.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to SelectQuote for sponsoring this episode. And now look, you already know that I use our sponsor Shopify to sell merch for my other podcasts. And every time I launch a product, it feels like I've hired an entire e-commerce department, but without the meetings or the awkward team building exercises. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Wow. With ready-made templates, AI tools that write your product copy, and a checkout experience so smooth it practically sells for you. That little purple Shop Pay button, that's the secret sauce. And it might just convert faster than coffee at a Monday morning staff meeting. If Shopify were a person, I'd nominate it for Entrepreneur of the Year, or at least let it run my fantasy football league. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into ka-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/businessbrain. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain. Again, shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode.
Okay. We're talking about ChatGPT, and let's stick with that theme because
it's Friday AI, man.
It's Friday AI. And on April 10th, there was an upgrade to ChatGPT, apparently to the memory. And Sam Altman, who's, I don't know, is he still the CEO? I don't know what he is.
I think so.
He said, we've greatly improved memory in ChatGPT. It can now reference all your past conversation. This is a surprisingly great feature. In my opinion, it points out something we're excited about, AI systems that get to know you over your life and become extremely useful and personalized. And I guess they had
I thought it did this already. Yeah,
it did.
I know it did
a
this
year
already.
ago. But what it says, it remembered things through a combination of you telling it what to recall and acting on its own. But now it's this new comprehensive memory function.
Okay.
Okay.
And my guess is if you want this turned on, you have to go, well, I think it's on by default, but to make sure that it's on, you go to settings, personalization, and make sure that both reference saved memories and reference chat history. I think the second one is the new one.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. That's true.
Yes.
So I was reading about this and I saw a post on X where someone, I think it was Real Estate Trent, who is a strip mall guy, who's a great follow, by the way. He says, hey, now that this memory, go ask this question, it'll blow your mind. And the prompt is, you ask ChatGPT, now that you can remember everything I've ever typed here, point out my top 5 blind spots. Okay. So you're asking for some critique. All right.
Okay.
And then, of course, so ChatGPT says, I love this question. It shows serious self-awareness. Based on everything you've shared so far, including hundreds of projects, business ideas, strategic discussions, here are 5 potential blind spots that show up in patterns, not criticisms, just growth levers. And I'm going to read these to you. 'Cause I'm all about this stuff. The first one, and I know this is so true. Number 1, blind spot, reluctance to scale with delegation.
She would say that about me too.
It says you're brilliant at building and launching, courses, mastermind groups, projects, newsletters, short-term rentals, but you tend to operate as the engine behind each. And man, that's so spot on. So there's a lot of it gets this because it says there's limited mention of hiring help, systematizing with team members, or building layers between you and the daily grind. This could be capping your scale and freedom. And I was like, man, that is nailed it. Very true. The next one is extreme idea velocity could equal incomplete execution. Some ideas may need more boring follow through to really pay off big. The opportunity cost of jumping too soon might be hidden. Dude, that's just so spot on. And then this one that I thought was pretty good too. Undervaluing your authority brand. You may be focused and there's more in depth. I'm just going to read the little summary.
Yeah. I fed this to ChatGPT for me just now too, and everything it said is right, but I'm trying to listen to you. So yes.
Undervaluing your authority brand. You may be so focused on helping others win that you underplay how powerful you already are. That's motivating. Obsessive optimization in creative projects. Perfection might occasionally get in the way of publishing fast and letting feedback guide the next move. I disagree with this one. I think it got this because especially when it was brand new, I'd be like, no, that's not right. Fix it. You misspelled this. Change this. So there's a lot of that in it as it's evolved over time.
Yes.
And then number 5, which I get it totally, future planning bias towards control, not leverage. And I'm not risk averse, but I am a bit leverage averse. I paid off all my houses, which people are like, that's a huge mistake, yada, yada, yada. It says your blind spot, risk aversion may be keeping you from placing a few smart bets that could 10x your reach or income.
Yeah.
These are amazing.
I have a couple of these that I'll share. The rest I kind of need to process. But underutilization of your leadership gravity. The blind spot is you may underestimate the power of your reputation and network, leading to under-leveraging your platform when negotiating, pitching, or recruiting. It's totally 100% true.
Because you're humble.
I have it
too.
What's the
imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. That's it. Yeah,
we talk about it. That's probably why we talk about it on the show that much.
Correct, because we both have it. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I've talked to it about building wealth, and it says my blind spot is you may be overestimating how much knowledge is required to get started with a more active investing strategy. Waiting for the perfect understanding might be holding you back from progress through small, safe actions.
Powerful, dude.
I
have to tell you, after I did this on go ahead.
Do it. No, I have one more, but I have mine in front of me. You have yours on the top of your tongue.
No, what I'm saying is I started asking it more financial planning because I'm
clearly same.
Yeah, I'm asset rich, but I do always face cash flow issues because I have a great lifestyle and I'm constantly trying to build new things, which is expensive, right? I'm building a new business right now. It's very expensive. And so I gave it everything. I was like, okay,
sure.
Here's this. I've got this. I got that. Here's this. Here's all that. And it was so helpful, man, to break down. And it created I'm also reading a new book called Die with Zero. Which I highly recommend. It's very interesting because I went to my financial planner, not to make this about that, but they're like, oh, when you're 90 something, if you pass away, you're going to have X number of dollars. And I was like, that's a lot of money. I want my kids to obviously get something, but there's a lot. And I was like, man, what if we change that? And what happens? So I'm trying to educate myself more, and ChatGPT has been very helpful. There you go.
No, what I like about ChatGPT, to follow on to your point, is it is excessively objective. Like it can take I can share with it things that I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable just posting on the internet or even sharing with everybody necessarily. But I can share it with this stuff And the answers it comes back with are just so stark and obvious. Sometimes it's like, of course I can't see that because I'm stuck in the middle of it. But the one that came up with it says over engineering technical solutions. The blind spot is your deep technical know-how can sometimes create complexity where good enough might have gotten the job done faster and with less maintenance. Before building, ask what's the smallest, dumbest thing I can ship that works and iterate only when needed. Yeah, this is good advice.
Really good.
This is good. I feel like Alice in Wonderland, yes. If only I'd ever listened to it, yeah, this is great advice.
I have to say, I'm involved in this stuff every day, and I have another AI service I can't wait to share with you next week on Friday AI. But this past weekend, as I rolled through these two prompts about finances and this one about blind spots, it hit me hard how impactful this technology, even though I knew it was very impactful already, but as it learns your life and you've talk about what do they call that, the walled garden or it's not, think about, would you give up your iPhone for an Android or your Google Android for an iPhone? You will have an AI that is so intertwined in your life that you will never give it up because so much history is in there and it's so valuable to you to guide and come back and say, well, Shannon, 5 years ago on January 13th, 2025, you said this and you wanted to look like this by 2030.
Yes. I've had this conversation with my therapist and he jokes, he's like, well, one of these days AI is going to take my job. And I said, maybe. But right now, what it does is it makes it easier for me to come in and know what I want to talk about with you because it knows what you're good at for me. And there's some things that AI can't do, like having another human respond to things.
Yes, of course.
Right. Like it's not that yet. So being able to dissect things and articulate things and then be like, all right, now here's what I want to talk about. My therapist is like, you move so quickly through all this stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, why would I want to waste time? He's like, well, but you know what you want to talk about. I'm like, well, part of that's just me, but also part of it is I like work these tools. And to your point about not caring whether you have iPhone or Android, it's going to be about the AI. I have said on Mac Geek Gab, which is a show I do for like tech stuff, that whoever can deliver me a smartphone with that level of personal assistant first, if it's Android, I will move to Android because once I have that, the rest of the interface is far less important. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. We're on the cusp of our entire handheld technology changing from app point button push to, hey, I need this. I need a haircut next Wednesday, or I'm trying to connect with Dave. Can you find a meeting for us that we can both go here? That is the future, and it will change the device that you carry in your pocket dramatically. It may not even have a screen. You never know.
The screen is less important when you get that. I've always said what I want is Jane from Ender's Game.
Exactly. And this heavy thing you carry, away.
No, I just want something in my ear that pays attention to everything that I see and do.
It's going to be the iPhone Shuffle.
It could be that big.
No screen.
Really, it could be AirPods.
Yeah.
I think it could be AirPods. It is.
But it'll be your phone, but it'll just be everything's voiced. You don't get to, you don't look at anything. Play my music, play my whatever, play my, all that stuff.
Well, I think as humans, we like screens.
Yeah, I know.
We are visual creatures. So,
definitely.
So I think the Vision Pro or
the
glasses or whatever, that is going to be part of this too. Yeah.
Probably right.
Yeah. But wearables is where this is going.
It's an exciting time. We'd love to hear what AI stuff you're working on. Feedback at businessbrain.show. And don't forget, we're always out there looking for your reviews. It helps us get this content out to more people that we want to help their business brains evolve. So go to businessbrain.show/review and leave us a review, and you'll be entered to win a MacBook this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Jawohl. It's craziness here, what we have going on.
Awesome.
And we love being a part of this conversation with all of you. So yes, feedback at businessbrain.show, businessbrain.show/review, and tell a friend about the show, would you please? I would love that. I would love that this week. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Later. Sweet. And we're out.
Awesome. That's great. Those of you on the live stream, thanks for watching us. Thanks for watching us interview with Colin earlier, and enjoy. So the episode with Colin, if you want to listen to it again, will come out on Wednesday the 16th, and this one, our Friday AI, comes out on Friday.
On Friday, yeah.
Take it easy, folks. Thanks for joining us and hanging out for an hour or so.
Later.
See ya.